Hey everybody, Founder Rich here with another video. I watched a James Griffiths video a little bit ago, earlier this morning. In fact, I watched 3 of his videos. But anyways, one of them I'm going to do a response to. And I guess his video was a response to James Heaton, Sir James Heaton video. Now, Sir James Heaton or whatever he's not a channel that I'm interested in. I don't watch him. I mean, he's probably a really nice guy, but it's just not the type of channel that really interests me. So I'm glad I watched this James Griffiths one because I think it's a really good idea. It's nothing spectacularly original, but it's the first song on side 2. Now, in the album format, that song is very important. You know, back in the CD days, I mean, they would load the good songs at the beginning of the CD and it kind of... But in the album days, it was a different thing. You had 2 distinct sides. And it was a good idea to start the second side with a banger. And I got 10 here. And I think that's what the Rolling Stones did with Sympathy Beggars Banquet. Side 1 is Sympathy for the Devil. I think it's a great song. But side 2 starts off with Street Fightin' Man. And it is a great way to start the side. It's a rocker. And you know what's interesting about that is they did a demo of that song. And Keith Richards liked the sound of the guitars on the demo. So they pretty much throughout the song, the guitar on that song is the demo version guitars. And you can hear it when it first starts out. It's not like a real powerful guitar sound. And it worked, man. It's a fantastic song off of what I think is their best album. Now, an album that blew me away when I first heard it was Led Zeppelin 2. I heard this before I heard Led Zeppelin 1. And this album, it was not like anything else, to be quite honest. I would consider it to be heavy metal. The heavy metal fans don't consider it to be. But, or hard rock, whatever, you know. Side 1 is great, but side 2 starts with Heartbreaker. I think my favorite song off of the album. I mean, it starts out with that guitar, and the bass on this is very heavy. The vocals, should I say, fantastic. And then it breaks into this guitar solo, kind of a bluesy feel at first, and then he speeds it up to punk rock proportions. And then they go into this really fast jam of this part of the song. And then it abruptly ends and it goes straight into Livin' Lovin' Made. And not only is this a great way to start side 1, the transition from one song to the next, that is one of the best too. The first and second song on side 2. Now, another album where I think I'm not always in the mood for this album, but I'm always in the mood for the first song on side 2, and that's Nina Hagen, Nun Sex Monk Rock. And the first song on side 2 is Born in 6-6, I guess is what it is. It's XIXAX. But the lyrics are Born in 6-6, and they're demented, possessed sounding vocals in this. But I really, it's a great song, man. I think it's weird. It's not for everybody, but I'm not always in the mood for, like I said, this album. But that song, man, I think it's so catchy. And it was the single. They played it on K-Rock. I mean, it wasn't a hit or nothing. But yeah, it's a fantastic way to start side 2. Now, another album that starts off side 2 in a really good way. It's a Changes Now. It's not a fast, bombastic song or necessarily even a catchy song. It starts out with these harmonies. Changes now, changes now. And it has, and then these guitars come in. The guitar solo is really psychedelic. It's got definitely psychedelic vibes to it. It's a very kind of a mellow track, but the harmonies and just the psychedelic vibe to it, it's a great way to start the side. Now, oddly, the second song is Old Man Robertson, and that's a really fast song, probably the fastest song on the side. And even it kind of has a country-ish to it, and then it goes back into the trippy stuff. But yeah, very good album. Probably this is my favorite Byrds album, and a great way to start side 2 is Changes Now. A band that when I first heard them, it was like, man, I've never heard a band like this sound like this before. And it's the Smiths. And the first song on side 2 is This Charming Man. And it starts out with this guitar. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, it's almost like, I don't know, plinkety plink guitar sound. It's unusual. And then this the rhythm section comes in. The drums and bass on this song are actually, quite frankly, like a lot of their songs, were a great rhythm section. And then Morrissey comes in with his, I think, great vocals. He does a couple of those, or whatever, you know. The funny thing about the Smiths, my best friend in the 80s, Tom, you know, he used to come over. I'd come home from work. He'd come over. And if I ever wanted him to, you know, I want him to take off, but I don't want to say nothing, I put the Smiths on, man. And it never failed. Before the song ended, he'd go, oh, I got to take off, dude. It never failed. But yeah, This Charming Man, what a great song, great lyrics, great band. Now, I think this album, The Clash, in some ways, it's my favorite album of theirs. I do like their others. I think their second album is probably my least favorite. But this album, man, it is just really hard-hitting, really pretty gritty. But it starts off with Career Opportunities. And it's one of the best songs. That's one of the best songs on the album. I think it's definitely the best song on side 2. And yeah, it's just a career opportunities of one you never know. Career opportunity. A really good, catchy song. And I didn't do it justice. Another one that starts out, side 2 starts out with kind of a slower song. And it's The Faces. A nod's as good as a wink to a blind horse. And it starts off with a Ronnie, what's his name? Ronnie Lane song. Debris. And it's just a beautiful song. It's one of the best songs on the album. It's not a rocker like Miss Judy's Farm or Stay With Me or You're So Rude. But That's All You Need, Too Bad. I mean, this has a lot of great rockers. This is the Faces' best album. If you want to dabble in the Faces and kind of hear, you know, Rod Stewart before he became a wanker, this is where you want to start probably. But Debris, or however you say it, is a great way to start side 2. It's kind of mellow. And I think he does a couple of songs on this album. Now, another album that was pretty much unlike anything else, and kind of still is. It's punk rock with a surf guitars kind of sound. You know, the guitars were tuned kind of like a surf guitar is, but it's not surf music. Side 1 is great, but side 2 starts off with California Uber Alles, one of their best songs ever. I don't know if it's the best song on the album. I mean, you do have a Police Truck and Holiday. Maybe Holiday in Cambodia is better than, and then California Uberall is maybe the second best song. But it's got great ones, man. Let's Lynch the Landlord. But anyways, back to California Uberall. Poor Jerry Brown. They really pick on him on this. But yeah, it's fantastic, dude. It's California Uberall. I don't know how to even describe this. Oh man, this video this might be a terrible. I think I was doing good until I got to that one though, you know. Devo. What is this one called? Freedom of Choice. And that was one of the singles off of here. But Whip It was the big single. And those two songs, Whip It is like the third song on side one. It ends with Freedom of Choice on side one. Side two starts off with one of the better songs on the album, Gates of Steel. Now it starts off with this kind of wimpy sounding keyboards, and then it, you know, the band kicks in, and the beat has this kind of that 80s electronic, you know, beat to it. Kind of in the background you can hear that, but layered on top of that is some really heavy sounding guitar riffs. And Gates of Steel, man, it's just the vocal delivery. I've never really paid attention to the lyrics, but they sound like they're fucking great. And let me show you something else. This is pretty cool. You got this inner sleeve. You can buy one of those monkey suits. And you got a mail order here for buttons, shirts, 3D glasses. I don't know, man, even like a Devo shirt and pants or something. But yeah, Gates of Steel, great way. And I'm going to end this with a band that blew up in '71 in the United States. And it's T-Rex. And the song that blew up is the first song on side two, Bang a Gong. At least in the US. I don't know. Sometimes the English track listings are different. And it's a great way to, I mean, side one has some really good songs on it. You got Jeepsters, Lean Woman Blues, Mambo Son. But he always had those kind of wimpy goofball songs, you know. He'd have like a hard-hitting groover, and then he would have this tiki-tiki, like a Cosmic Dancer is probably one of them. Maybe Girl. But yeah, Bang a Gong, the hit song off the album, starts off side two, and it's a great way to start the side. Anyways, I'm going to leave a link to James Griffiths. I don't know if I'll leave a link to that Heaton guy. Anyways, take care, everybody. Hey, can you hear these shoes? Man, they are squeaky. I got some Doc Marten boots on. They're my work boots. I was up on the roof earlier today, and oh well, they're squeaky as you know what. Take care, everybody.